Hello everyone, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Max, and today I wanted to do a video kind of talking about my future predictions for WandaVision's final episode, and kind of how that will play into the greater MCU as a whole, and possibly where the episode could be, where it could go overall. So, Episode 8 of WandaVision really kind of cued us in as to what has been happening the whole time. We saw that Wanda's in control of everything, Agatha's kind of pulling the string. Vision that we saw, prior to, Infinity War and everything before really is dead, but Sword either, put those pieces back together and resurrected him to an extent, or they created their own Vision using the same kind of idea and parts as the Vision that we've known for so many years. So they're really kind of setting up all of these storylines and different motives. Wanda finally has her name as the Scarlet Witch, which I think is really cool because we saw that, going back into Wanda's past with Hydra, that when she touched the Infinity Stone, that she saw kind of like a silhouette of Scarlet Witch, and it seemed to amplify her powers, which we did learn she had, throughout her whole life, essentially, which I think is a really interesting twist, because now they can bring in mutants and kind of use that as a way to explain things rather than them having to possibly find a different way to explain things that varies from the comics. And I honestly think that's good, because I could see a lot of people getting upset if they have to kind of, retcon too much or change things too much for the MCU to continue making sense within the continuity it's in. So, yeah, my main theory, kind of how I think episode 9 is going to go, is I think White Vision is going to essentially be Ultron, and he is going to be out of Sword's control, and maybe him and Agatha will team up. Or Agatha, depending on, how her character goes. I could see her leaning with Wanda or with someone else, but she does use dark magic, so I can't see her, goals and motives being ones that are happy and pure, so to speak. But I do think it's a possibility that, she will team up with Wanda or White Vision. White Vision will try to, maybe he has the same goals as Ultron, and he's going to, kind of end the world to give it a rebirth. Maybe that's kind of seen, and then Wanda's vision that she created and White Vision go head to head. I think that's something we could see. And then the biggest question kind of that I've been thinking about is we have one episode left, and there hasn't really been anything kind of hinting towards the multiverse being opened up. There's a lot of weight on episode 9 because so many theories kind of lean into the multiverse being opened up in this episode. We've seen reports and, possible leaks and things from different scoopers claiming that Andrew Garfield and Toby Maguire, along with other Spider-Man characters, have been in talks for a long time. And it was said that the multiverse would most likely be opened up in WandaVision, and then it would be open throughout Spider-Man and would be corrected in Doctor Strange 2. Now, there are ways they could do this without the multiverse as far as Spider-Man's concerned. So we know that Jamie Foxx's Electro and Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus are returning, but they could do the same thing they're doing with J.K. Simmons and J. Jonah Jameson, and it's just kind of like, these are the characters in this world. They don't have to acknowledge a multiverse. They don't have to acknowledge the other Spider-Men. And so this is a strong possibility if they don't open the multiverse. Is it a big mistake if they do that? I think so, because there's just so much that people expect now that if they don't bring in Andrew and Toby and, some sort of multiverse element, that Spider-Man 3 is going to fall short of pretty much everybody's expectations, aside from the general viewing audience who doesn't know any of this behind the scenes, kind of rumors that have been circulating. So I think WandaVision episode 9 definitely needs to open the multiverse, and that could, lead into the big cameo. Maybe it's Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Maybe it's someone from the X-Men movies. I don't really have a clear-cut guess myself based on who it could be. I do think Tobey Maguire would be kind of the big one, because then it's, really kind of connecting everything. We know that Marvel and Sony have deals regarding Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but if they bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, then it really shows a strong partnership between those studios, and Disney owns Fox, so they kind of have all of the rights to those characters and can do whatever they want with them, which is why we know Deadpool is going to be coming over and possible other X-Men characters that we've already seen played by the same actors, but if we get those other Spider-Man and maybe possible other villains from the Spider-Man movies, then we know that like this is a clear-cut thing. Marvel can really do whatever they want, you know. For the people who want the shows to connect to Marvel, they can do that. I would personally love if Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could connect. I do think it is still in the canon MCU, but that's not what this video is about. But I do think, you know, what, depending on what they want to do with the shows and other universes, movies and all that, if they really want to kind of do whatever they want, the multiverse has to be open, and the place to do that is WandaVision. Now, the other thing I've been thinking about is kind of how this sets up the greater MCU. I touched on it a little bit in talking about the Spider-Man stuff, but I do think, you know, it's been said by Kevin Feige that WandaVision will lead into Spider-Man 3, and Spider-Man 3 will lead into Doctor Strange 2. So we know this much, but how does this really connect to the further MCU? Because if the multiverse is opened, that really gives them free reign to do whatever they want. They can bring in characters from other universes without having to really explain anything besides, you know, time travel or however they're going to explain it in some sort of, you know, magic or universe bending way. But they really won't have to do anything. So I think this would be a great move in connecting WandaVision to those movies, because I'm guessing there are, you know, still people who go and see the MCU movies that have not seen WandaVision. So this would be a great way to bring them over to Disney Plus to watch the show, and then possibly for us to get something involving Wanda and Vision. Maybe it's not WandaVision how we knew season 1, but if they do continue the show and they see maybe a huge spike in viewership when Spider-Man 3 or Doctor Strange 2 comes out, I think they could renew the show and do something, you know, maybe a multiverse version of it, or have a different storyline, but it is contained in a different universe entirely, or maybe Wanda jumps different universes with Vision, and they, you know, whatever it may be. I think there's definitely a way to continue WandaVision if they open up the multiverse, and they can really do any story they want at that point, because if people hate something, they can just go, oh, well, that was a different Earth and we're not going to, you know, return to that Earth again. I don't want them to use it as a cop-out, but really, I think the MCU has everything figured out. And at this point, they can really do whatever they want, and the large amount of people will be happy with it. So that's about all I have for now. I'm really excited to see what episode 9 gives to us and all of the storylines that are going to connect. I've seen reports saying it's going to be 50 minutes, but I hope it's 2 hours. I think 2 hours would be the perfect amount of time to really wrap up every storyline, because there is a lot they have to cover. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. So thank you so much for checking out this video. If you like it, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.